have okay. We have artist Scaly. Did I say your name right? I can't hear you. There's no sound. Hello? No, I can't hear you. Yep. Anyway, we're talking. As soon as she fixes we fix the volume. Every time, this is what I tell you. On days that I have guests and everything, sometimes the technical issues want to pop up, but we're gonna get it figured out and we're gonna hear from her. Scaly, can you hear me now? Look. I hear your mouth move, but I can't. I see your mouth move, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No, I can. Yes, I can. Hi.
Okay. All right.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So first, let me start. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You were prompt, on time, and actually, you know what? You were early. That works even better for me. So
good.
So did I pronounce your name correctly? Is it Scaly?
So it's Scaly.
Scaly.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was very interesting to me because where did you get that name from?
Well, it's actually my last name.
Okay.
And yeah, it's possibly originated in from Sicily, but to be honest, there's different origins to it. I discover new information with time.
Okay. So let me be a little more nosy. So are you Italian? Half Italian?
No, I'm actually Moroccan and Iraqi, but the Moroccan roots probably have Spanish and French and Italian roots.
Probably.
So that's it.
You know why I asked? Because you have the really dark hair and the really dark eyebrows. So I was like, okay, yeah. And then when you said the origin of the name, I said, maybe she's part Italian.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll do a DNA test one day and we'll find out.
I'm curious. Names are very interesting to me, so I love to get the background of people because I want to know who I'm talking to, and the fact that you're Moroccan and all that. I love saying, okay, I'm learning more about other people, other cultures. So that's very interesting for me.
Yeah, I love learning about cultures, and to be honest, I'm from Israel, and it's just so many. It's such a young country, so it's just so normal to be half Moroccan, half Russian. It's just like a norm.
Wow. Wow. So how did you make your way to the UK? From how did you make your way there?
So I think it's about my influences in music. I've always listened to Coldplay, Muse, Radiohead, and those bands and more artists that I love, Tom Odell, more artists, Kate Bush. They really made me want to start my career in the UK, in London. And they influenced my music, my genre, in a way that I felt that it would be more suitable for my music to be here, for the audience here, than it would be in Israel. Also because it's in English. And that's how I think. And yeah.
So let me tell you something. When I first heard your voice, heard your music, your voice is almost hypnotic to me.
Thank you. That's a great compliment. I like that.
And it captivated me, and all I could do was like pause the second I heard you, and it just overtook me somehow, and it's like almost like transcending. I can't even really explain it, but it mesmerized me, and I was like, wow, her voice is so beautiful, and it does sound like a hummingbird.
Oh my God, I do have a song called Hummingbird.
Yes, you do. I know that because when I read your bio, I did. I was like, okay, yep. Yeah, so I'm like, so where did that voice come from? Because a lot of people, when they're in the music industry, they come from a musical background. Do you come from any type of musical background?
Yeah. So I learned voice ever since I was 11. So that, and also music. I've just graduated from BIM London, so that's the music university, and also learned music ever since I was about 13. Started voice and then the rest of music. Yeah, so classical, jazz, and also pop.
I was gonna say, I hear that classical because some of those notes that you hit, I'm like, she has surpassed Mariah Carey. I'm like, Mariah Carey.
I love classical music. Yeah. To be
And
honest, though, the kind of production that I currently use in my high register is sort of anti-classical.
okay,
Um, it's kind of weird, but it's a very breathy sound, and it's sort of a different technique. But I can say that in general, the classical approach helped me to make my register larger, and that way I can also use different techniques in those high notes.
that's probably what probably captivated me because you have that range, and you don't hear that in everyone's voice, and you just do it so effortless. When I'm watching you sing, it's like there's no effort there when you're doing it, and that's what probably amazes me the most. And I went straight to the whole operatic thing. I said, she
Mm,
an opera singer? Is she what is that? Because I feel like watching you're watching an opera. And I
yeah.
can look at your voice and your body mannerisms. I feel like I'm understanding what you're saying, what you're singing, what you're feeling at that moment with your song.
I'm really glad to hear that. I mean, it's all about emotion, and eventually I can learn music my whole life. Yeah, I mean, I can do my technique and everything, and that's important to me. But eventually, I find that it's at least 80% feeling, and just a
You
little bit of technique to organize it all.
you definitely. I'm gonna say this. You got the emotion part because you. I
Thank you.
see it. I feel it. When you're singing. Excuse me. I'm talking and like, oh my God, so much going on in this country today, and I've been talking my butt off all day long. Okay. And I've been talking all day long today because there's so much going on in our country. So I definitely wanted to make sure I got you in today. So
Thank you.
I do have so there was a picture because I go up when I kind of gather my background information on people.
Mm.
I looked at one of your pictures and it's like you were hanging out of a window. Were you sitting on a window? What was going on there?
Um, Trying to think which photo
It
that
was
is.
you had your back. It was the I know I can't tell if you're really sitting on the window, on the ledge of the window, but you had your back. So all you could see was your back, and then there was the
With
amazing view
locks behind
you were
me.
looking at that I looked at. What was it?
Is it with locks behind me?
I don't really remember it.
Yeah, I
If it
don't
really
have
locks
any
behind
photo
you.
with a window, but I do have one that I took in Shoreditch, just by the station, and it's this incredible area of London with a lot of street art, and
Okay.
it just has this like a lot of locks just being like behind me, and the photographer took a photo in which I can imagine why it can look like a window.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what you did, but I was like, okay, is she hanging off of this window? What was going on there? So it could have been you, right? Well, how you just described it, but it was amazing to me that you would even do something like that. Going through all of your pictures, you're very artistic, and
Thank you.
I glad that's what I said. Where did that come from, though?
Um, well, I can say my parents probably have an influence on it. They've always pushed me and my brother to think creatively, to doubt the universe, ourselves, not to doubt in the insecure way,
Okay.
but to doubt in wanting to be curious always, and finding different ways to say the same thing. My dad's an architect. My mom writes poetry. Um,
Okay.
so that definitely has an influence. My brother is in high tech, but is also playing piano, so he's a really good pianist.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I hope that's a good enough answer.
Did they all move to the UK with you?
No,
Okay.
no. My parents are still at home. My brother is currently in Mexico. He's a digital nomad, so he's always traveling, and I'm here in the UK. I live
Okay.
with flatmates.
So how has the pandemic influenced your music?
Wow, greatly, to be honest. Well, I was in London and I was learning at university at BIM, learning music. Then all of a sudden the pandemic hit,
Okay.
and basically, a lot of people just go back to their home country. So I went back to Israel,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, I actually had COVID. We got it on the plane. um,
So you
the
had
things.
COVID and you got, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we found it out after we got to Israel.
Okay.
Started to get the symptoms, and then I started writing more songs from I would say a more vulnerable place.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah, and sort of a lot of healing, a lot of working on my mental health. In a way, I feel like I've been through a lot of really difficult things, and I've sort of pushed it away when I went to London in 2019
Okay.
to learn music. I sort of left it all behind and just wanted to forget about traumas, to forget about all of the scars I have. And when I got back home, it's like in the song I'm saying, I'm back here again, but it's different this time. So that's just healing, and all of the it takes to speak on traumas, to speak on to face it in front of myself. That really got into my music, that sense of vulnerability and exposure, just being out there with who I am. And in a way, I really find it important to be able to be vulnerable and to be able to speak honestly about our mental health. Um, and I feel that there's a lot of toxic approaches here and there that I face, and a lot of stay strong when you can't be strong, a lot of be happy when you can't be happy. And I feel like I really want to make people feel like they can be what they are and feel what as they do. And if they need to heal, then heal. If they're happy, be happy. If you're sad, be sad. Just let it be. That's the influence that I had from this pandemic. That's how it influenced myself as a person, and that got into my music.
So with dealing with the pandemic, how did you feel? Because I've been hearing stories of people say when they have the pandemic, then it's like emotionally, it's more than just the physical, it's the emotional. So what were you feeling when you realized that you had COVID? Did you have any of those like emotional or mental issues that came up for you?
I feel like I was already having a lot of anxiety at that time with everything that was going on, even before like knowing that I have the virus. And yeah, I mean, it definitely made things worse because I was at home with my then boyfriend and my mom and my brother. We all came back from abroad and we had to isolate. So all of a sudden, having COVID in the isolation, we were all very confused, like, wait, so do I need to get in the room now? But wait, we've already been together the whole week. Like, what's going on? What are we doing? Very confusing, this whole situation, trying to understand what to do, how to do. Then isolate from my mother and brother, but not from my boyfriend because it didn't make sense. And then we realized that you had it too, which only makes sense, but they didn't. Very, very confusing. It lasted for over a month, the whole thing.
Wow.
And I was just trying to make a lot of music, just songwriting, and trying to heal from everything that I was going through.
What was the best song that came out of the whole COVID thing for you that you wrote? What's the most powerful song?
It's hard to tell because I feel like in a way art is never finished until it's being perceived by the last person who perceives it, and until I really see the effect of it on people. And Get Well Soon is already out. I know that it has a lot of effect on people, and I feel like it is powerful. But there's also a song called Abnormal that I didn't release, and I hope to release at some point, which I actually wrote in the same day of Get Well Soon. And I feel like I will only know how powerful that can be once it's being perceived by others. Because for me, they both are different forms of healing. But for others, I just don't know yet.
So did you just feel like when you were isolated, you said all I can do is write? So how many songs did you create from the isolation?
Oh wow, to be honest, I never counted. I don't know, maybe like one or two every day, and then like like 2 or 3 texts also, so like poetry.